That's what I'm talking about, dude.
Ouch.
Oh, that was good.
That was chilling.
Yeah, I love those videos.
Oh my God, great job.
Shout out to
Their
Cinematic
facial
team.
expressions at the end, man.
Yeah.
They knew.
What?
That was the moment they knew.
Yeah, Cinematic really knocked it out with that one.
Keeping it real goes wrong, man. I love it. The idea behind this is so beautiful, and of course, this is going to play into what you saw. That cinematic will be a part of Terminus's kind of playstyle in the realm as we take a look at his
as
new
defined
champion.
by Daddy.
He's a big dude, and I know that
He's about ready to headbutt the player UI up there.
Yeah. He doesn't mess around.
Yeah, he's got to bend down.
UIs, enemies, they all get crushed because this is our officially biggest character so far in our roster. I know we hinted at it in the previous patch note show, so if you guys picked that up, I saw that Reddit thread. Don't think I did. Well done. Well done.
Garrett sees all.
But he is super awesome, guys. Like, this is such a embodiment of power, visceral kind of ferocity, and it synergizes with his playstyle. It synergizes with his character and who he is. He looks awesome, and as you can see, like I know I'm talking all about the looks, but Nick, you can probably do better justice to.
Oh yeah, I mean, I know it was a real challenge for our team, being like we wanted to make such a huge character, but also still have him, like, you know, fit within like the areas on the map that we have. And so, like, a lot of that plays in with the animation. Like, he's kind of got this hunched over look, and that really goes into his personality and everything as well. And just like the crystals and everything on him just look fantastic.
So we do have a voice pack coming in for Terminus the Fallen. Let's take a listen to that now for the new champion coming out in OB61.
I will crush you into dust, stone and blood. The magistrate commands, I eradicate. My fight is eternal. People are like trees. You cut them down with an axe. Oh, yeah.
You got a Kool-Aid Man reference in there, huh?
Interesting.
I think Grover would have something to say about that, Mr. Terminus.
No, dude, he's mean from head to toe, and as you can see right now, we're kind of going through his common and uncommon skins. Shout out to this uncommon skin because it is awesome.
Wow.
It changes the color of the crystal. That blue and gold really just pops. I love it.
This is a whole new look.
I'm excited for this guy to get his first epic skin, though. I gotta say, I can't wait.
It's a lot of man meat to work with. You know,
I bet.
Phrasing.
A lot of man stone.
Phrasing.
Yeah.
Phrasing.
Listen, he's clearly hit the gym, man. I don't know if you want to argue with me or not. This is a big dude. So he's got a lot to work with.
He's awesome, guys, and I obviously you're looking at him, you're like, where's the gun? There's not a gun. There's a giant axe.
Yes.
Yep.
And once we jump into the gameplay, we'll show you what it's all about.
So this is the guy that brings the knife to the gunfight, so to speak, and probably still wins or does very well for himself.
The giant massacre axe to the gunfight. Yeah.
That's the name, right? Massacre axe.
Yep. That's right.
That's pretty straightforward.
He is all about being straightforward and kind of all business.
Direct.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Yeah, and so, you know, moving into this, we are going to take a look at this Terminus in-game and show him off. There are some very interesting elements that are added in his kit that will maybe change the dynamics that you experience in your Paladins games very often. He's got a couple of new kind of mechanics that definitely will take some maybe adjusting to and some exciting adjusting because it'll bring a new play style.
Shout out to that horse, dude.
Oh my God, the real MVP.
Bruh, you done?
So right off the bat, we notice this hulking melee weapon in the frame. So let's go ahead and do what we all want and swing it.
Or emote.
Or emote.
We revel
Emote's
in this
cool,
moment.
Oh yeah, it's hefty.
Yeah.
It's meaty. You're seeing that 700 damage a swing. He swings at I think 1.1 or 1.2 rate. So definitely a heavy hitter.
It even sounds good to miss with this weapon.
No, the sounds on this character are amazing. Oh God, the weapon inspect you. Look how just like he toys with that thing. That thing probably weighs like 100 pounds or something ridiculous.
Easy.
And he's like, don't matter.
Rock Daddy.
I'm gonna say this guy's probably what, 7 and 8 feet tall, something like that.
He's a monolith for sure.
I'm giving that axe 150 to 200.
Yeah, absolutely. So his LMB, his main in-hand attack, is a melee strike. I know before we had some kind of issues with other characters that tried to emulate this similar relationship, mainly Grover, and we feel like we've kind of reached a point that involved a bit of a roll swap and also a different kick mechanic swap that allows for such a mechanic to exist. We had some difficulties implementing it before, but I think we really touched on something that brings it home with this character. So we just went over the left click. The right click, his alt fire, is this quick little charge blast right there. So it's on a very low cooldown, 2 seconds. Now, it's a projectile attack. It's very fast. Also, it sounds awesome. I love that sound. And also, it synergizes with other parts of his kit that I won't spoil yet. So you have a very quick and just constantly up way to interact with enemies at range, which makes your melee on your left click not feel as detrimental, right?
Right.
Like, you don't have to just... You can be effective in the fight, participating, without being next to, in the face of your enemies.
Right.
So the awesome synergy with the right mouse button comes in with the Q. So your Q is called Power Siphon, and what this ability does is project like this ephemeral energy field in front of you. So as you're walking, slows your movement speed and is paired with a resource. As you can see, the UI pops up on your screen when you're consuming it. Now what this does is block enemy ranged attacks, so projectiles, instant fire traces, and then it absorbs damage. And as you can see on the screen, the damage you absorbs feeds into a charge system. You can have a maximum of 4 charges that you can permanently store all the time. And each one of these charges will then add an additional projectile onto your next Calamity Blast, which is at your RMB. Boom.
Hello.
So you can just drop damage. If you've been tanking, if you've been absorbing damage like a good frontline player should be, kind of taking it for your team, then you gain more offensive reliability. It feels awesome to just take all that damage and throw it back. And Droxus has a similar effect, but it's like the baby version, right? This is the daddy tank version of it. That's like, give me all of your damage. I want it all.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually was kind of relating this to reversal, and the fact that it is a reversal almost that you can store and use at your own whim, so to speak.
Exactly.
And gives, I think this is going to be probably the skill cap portion for Terminus. That's going to separate a lot of good Terminus players versus average Terminus players. Being able to utilize this effectively, because there's a lot of thinking and thought and timing and analyzing a situation that goes into utilizing this correctly.
Absolutely, and as you can see there, it's not weak.
Right.
If you're doing your job and you're absorbing and landing all the projectiles, so there's a bit of a skill requirement.
Right.
You can get some serious bursts. It's 250 per, and you can have a maximum of 5.
Ah,
so,
wow.
Yeah.
So it's 1 at base, and then the 4 ticks are in addition to the 1.
In addition,
Got
on
it.
your next one, absolutely.
So 5 total. Okay.
Yep.
And talk to me about this shield. Is it, because Androxus is based on how much damage he's taking. So how much do you have to absorb to get a charge?
I think it's 1,200 damage.
It is.
And to be clear, this damage absorption field isn't a shield. This is just something that you project in front of you that just absorbs all of the shots. So you can't, it doesn't deal more
break.
damage to it.
And
Other
you can't
abilities don't
break
counter
it.
it. You can't
Wrecker
break it.
won't
You put it in front of a hexafire.
Exactly. There is no scenario where you want to shoot this shield.
Yes. And he has a resource, which means he can't hold it up forever.
Exactly.
Eventually, the shield will drop.
And he's also, I think, slowed by 80% while doing it. So he's not really offensive while it's happening. But as facing Terminus, you never want to shoot the shield.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so you got to catch it when the shield is down. You charge it up every 1,200. It seems like a lot of burst that can happen to it, but he's melee gear. What I've seen so far is that kind of the dynamic that's always been kind of difficult with melee is that way to contribute to a fight from afar, and that's what seems like Calamity Blast is helping players to be able to do. But also, how does he get to people if there's a gap that they've created?
Beautiful segue.
Yeah.
So if we can, James, can you just take that Cassie down? Yes. So, God, I love the way this ability feels, guys. So this ability is called Shatterfall, and what it is a leap. And actually, if you've noticed the way it moves actually a very similar to Ash's ult sweep in that he is a frontline, right? So it's not a quick dash that you would find on a flank or something like that. So you have a little bit of hang time in the air. But in this case, you get a little bit more payoff on the end.
Yep.
So if you leap into the air and then when you come down, you bring your Ash down, smash it in front of you, and then what you create this like energy seismic wave in front of you that will damage and slow enemies caught in the area. Now it's a decently long area. It actually communicated by the decal on the ground, so you can see this rift that appears in front of him. Any enemies along that path will be damaged and slowed. It's a 500 damage hit. So
25
that's
damage.
nothing.
It's a
That's
good
nothing
opener.
yeah, it's a really good opener. Also synergizes really well with one of his legendaries, which changes that slow to a 1 second stun. So if you want to buy into the legendary, by all means do so. The caveat is that I think it's a 14 or 15 second cooldown. So it's an impactful ability, but you need to use it wisely.
Right.
He doesn't have any cards that modify the cooldown of it. So going in, know that you are permitted this chance to move, displace yourself, and potentially start a fight or finish one, but you're not going to be able to do so very shortly after.
Like, have a backup plan, basically.
Exactly, exactly.
If things go wrong, what do you decide to do?
Or have a full resource on your power siphon bar.
Sure.
So it is a lot of fun, and also just as just a feels thing, killing someone with his ability just feels awesome. I would ask for you to take that Cassie health down to, like, 200, James, and then just dunk her.
Dunker.
All right, well, they didn't kill her, but you finished it up at the end.
Miscalculated.
Yeah.
Mistakes were made.
So, I mean, I guess one of the questions I wanted to ask you, Nick, is Terminus doesn't seem like the most agile guy in general, right? But he breaks out the jumps. I mean, this looks like, Shaquille O'Neal back in the day, posterizing you.
He's got some power.
What was the conversation in the art team in terms of saying, how do we want this ability to kind of manifest itself from a visual standpoint after given, the idea that it was a jump?
I think it was really important to get that twist when he's jumping down, trying to get that impact, and then there's a lot of feedback from design, trying to make it feel right, where you kind of like have that stall.
Hang time
Yeah,
moment.
that hang time moment, and you can kind of bring it down, and that has a really cool, like, impactful experience, but it also helps you, like, with the skill and being able to place exactly where you're landing. So.
Yeah, it's super cool, and getting the gravity curve just right to emphasize that hang time, and then the collapse on your victim is super impactful. It's a lot of fun to use, and it's extremely effective in game, because being able to slow someone, and then as a melee character, you get to capitalize on that slow extremely heavily.
Yeah, the slow is actually 60% for 2 seconds.
That's
so
correct.
if you take if you understand what it feels like to be slowed by Pip's explosive flask, that's 50% for 2.5 seconds. So this is even more. So this is a very big slow coming through. He's gonna have a lot of opportunities to hit a few shots afterwards. Now, I guess everyone is really asking, and probably at this point wants to see that big center button that hasn't been pushed yet.
I think we should show him.
Wait, what's happening?
How
you doing?
I love that.
Nick's voice back.
Solid voice back choice.
Wow. So, walk me through what's
So that
going
is
on
his
here.
ultimate, guys. That is reanimation. It's